My name is Amelia Rowan Price. I'm 29 years old. If you'd asked me a month ago to describe my life, I would have told you it was normal in a good way. I had a decent job, a small apartment, a group of friends who knew my coffee order by heart, and I had a boyfriend, Ethan, who I genuinely thought I'd eventually share a lease and a last name with. Nothing cinematic, nothing dramatic, just two people doing the slow, steady work of being together, or so I thought. We'd been dating for about 2 years, long enough to have rituals and running jokes and a shared calendar. We did Taco Tuesdays at this hole-in-the-wall place down the street, Friday movie nights where we traded off who picked the film, lazy Sundays wrapped up in each other on my couch. We'd started talking about moving in together next spring, after his promotion came through and after my lease was up. It felt like a plan, a real one. Sure, we had our flaws. Ethan could be a little moody when work stressed him out. I could get lost in my own head and forget to text back for hours. We'd had arguments about stupid things, like who left dishes in the sink or whose turn it was to buy groceries. But underneath all of that, I genuinely believed we were solid. 3 weeks ago, on a Wednesday night, my phone rang while I was standing in my kitchen holding a box of dry pasta. Ethan's name flashed on the screen. I smiled and hit accept. "Hey you," I said. His voice was flat. "We need to talk." My stomach dipped. No one ever says that for good news. I set the pasta down slowly. "Okay, what's up?" There was a pause, the kind where you can hear someone breathing and thinking and trying to decide how to rearrange your life with a sentence. "I think we should break up," he finally said. For a second, everything in my apartment went quiet. The fridge hum, the neighbor's TV, the traffic outside, all of it dropped out. It was just his words echoing in my head. "Okay," I said, because my brain is slow in emergencies. "Can I ask why?" He sighed like I'd asked him to move a couch. I don't think you're invested enough, Amelia. You don't fight for us. You never chase me. I need someone who shows they care." I blinked. "I literally drove 3 hours last month when your car broke down on the highway," I said. "I missed an important call with my boss to be with you at the mechanic. I cook for us 3 nights a week. I remembered your mom's birthday and got her that plant she liked. What are you talking about?" "That's just baseline stuff," he said. "I need passion. Someone who won't just let me walk away." I stared at the wall. There was a hairline crack running down from the ceiling I'd never noticed before. Funny what you see when someone is casually detonating your future. "So let me get this straight," I said slowly. "You want to break up with me because I'm not dramatic enough about it?" "You don't get it," he snapped. "I need to know you're all in, that you'll fight for us. Sometimes it feels like I care more than you." This was the fork in the road. I could hear it as clearly as if someone had narrated it over my shoulder. Option A. I cry. I beg him to stay. I ask what I can do better. I throw my dignity at his feet in the hopes that he'll see it and decide I'm worth choosing. Option B. I respect what he just said and act accordingly. I'm 29 years old. I've been through enough to know that love built on games collapses the second real life puts weight on it. "All right then," I said. My voice surprised me with how calm it sounded. "If that's what you want." On the other end, silence. "That's it?" he asked. "You're not even going to try?" "You just told me you want to break up," I said. "I'm respecting your decision." "But don't you care?" "Of course I care," I said. "But I'm not going to beg someone to stay who doesn't want to." Another pause. I could practically hear his confusion. "I thought you'd at least, I don't know, say we should talk about it." "You made your choice," I said softly. "I'm just listening." He was quiet for a long moment. Then, "Fine. I guess that proves my point." "I guess it does," I said. "Take care of yourself, Ethan." I hung up. For a full minute, I stood in the middle of my kitchen, holding my phone, surrounded by uncooked pasta and the faint smell of tomato sauce, feeling like someone had rearranged the furniture in my life while I watched. Then the adrenaline hit. My hands started shaking. My eyes burned. I slid down the cabinet door and sat on the floor. I could have called him back, could have fired off a dozen texts, could have searched his tone for hidden meanings. Instead, when I could feel my fingers again, I opened my settings and blocked his number. Then I opened every app where his face might ambush me and removed him, unfollowed, unfriended, untagged. I moved through my apartment like a ghost, collecting the few things he kept at my place. The hoodie he always left on the back of my chair, his favorite mug, the toothbrush in my bathroom. I put them all in a cardboard box and slid it into the front hall. By the time I collapsed into bed, the box was waiting by the door like a silent witness. 2 days later, I got a message on Instagram. It was from Noah, a guy I'd met a handful of times at group hangouts. One of Ethan's friends. The kind of friend who was always friendly, always laughing at my jokes, always staying a little too long in conversations with me. "Hey," the message read. "Heard about you and Ethan. That sucks. You doing okay?" I stared at the screen, at his name, at the blinking cursor in the reply box, and felt the ground shift just slightly under my feet. I had no idea that message was the first domino in an even dumber game I didn't know I'd been drafted into. I didn't respond to Noah's message right away, partly because I was still trying to feel all the layers of the breakup: shock, annoyance, hurt, disbelief, but partly because I knew better than to run straight into the arms of someone connected to my ex, even a kind someone, even someone who had always seemed easy to be around. But the silence in my apartment that night felt heavier than usual. The absence of Ethan's voice, his stupid inside jokes, the predictable way he'd open every conversation with, "Guess what happened today?" echoed in weird little spaces of my home. It was embarrassing to admit even to myself that I missed him, or at least missed the habit of him. So, after an hour of staring at Noah's message, I typed back, "Hey, yeah, rough couple days, but I'm okay. Thanks for checking in." He replied immediately, "You sure? Breakups suck even when you pretend they don't." I snorted despite myself. "Yeah, they do." "Can I get you coffee?" he asked. "Not as a date, just as a distraction. I promise not to be weird." Something about the phrasing made me laugh. Honest, self-aware, gentle. And maybe I needed gentle after what felt like a breakup framed like an SAT logic puzzle. "Okay," I said. "Coffee sounds nice." Coffee turned into 2 hours of conversation. 2 hours turned into a walk around downtown. That turned into dinner at a small Thai spot with twinkle lights and mismatched chairs, where he told me about running his graphic design business, and I told him things I hadn't said out loud in weeks. He made me laugh. Real laughs, the kind that crawled up from my ribs and didn't feel forced. At the end of the night, he hesitated when we stood by my car. "Look," he said, "I should probably tell you something. I've had a thing for you since the night we met. I know the timing is messy, but yeah." I blinked, then exhaled a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. "I appreciated the honesty," I said, "and the timing is weird, but I had a really good time too." His smile was warm, and for the first time in days, the sadness in my chest loosened its grip. We kept talking after that, orbiting each other a little closer every day. A week later, we made it official. It felt sudden, yes, but it also felt right. Comfortable, safe, like someone had turned down the volume on my chaotic brain. I even started thinking to myself, maybe Ethan accidentally did me a huge favor. Then everything exploded. It started in the grocery store. I was picking out avocados when I saw one of Ethan's other friends, Marissa, near the self-checkout. She spotted me, froze, and then speed walked toward the exit like a cartoon character trying not to slip on ice. Weird. That night, Noah came over with takeout and a look on his face I couldn't read. "We need to talk about something," he said. My stomach dropped again. "What's wrong?" He rubbed his forehead. "Your ex has been blowing up my phone, calling me a snake, a traitor, all kinds of nonsense." "What? Why?" He sat down, shoulders slumping. "Because I guess," he exhaled, "the breakup wasn't real." I just stared. "What?" "It was supposed to be a test." My brain actually stalled, like a computer stuck buffering. "A test?" I repeated. "Yeah." He winced. "His friends convinced him to break up with you to see if you'd fight for him. Like, if you begged him not to leave, it meant you really loved him. If you didn't, he'd know you weren't the one." I laughed. Out loud. Sharp and humorless. "Oh," I said. Of course it was a test. Because why communicate when you can manipulate?" Noah looked miserable. He thought it was romantic or something. I don't know. His whole friend group does this thing where they give each other breakup strategies like it's a sport. "And now," I said, leaning back against the couch, "he's having a meltdown because instead of proving my love through a performance, I just took the breakup seriously." Noah nodded. "And because," he hesitated, "because you're dating me." "Because I'm dating you," I echoed with a huff. He watched me carefully. "Are you okay?" "I'm annoyed," I said, and flattered, and disgusted, and tired, all at the same time. He reached for my hand. For what it's worth, I didn't know about the test until today, I swear. "I believe you," I said, and I did. But already, deep down, I could feel a tiny crack forming. Something shifting. Something I didn't yet have words for. We decided not to let Ethan's idiocy ruin something good. We agreed to keep dating while staying off social media, laying low until the drama blew over. But the drama did not blow over. It detonated. 1 week later, Noah showed me a screenshot of a group chat Ethan created titled Intervention. All his friends, including Noah, including a girl named Ivy who sent entirely too many heart emojis and messages. Ethan started, "We need to talk about what's happening. This is not okay." One of the girls replied, "You literally planned this. You told her to break up with him." Then another, "Dude, you said Tess proved devotion. This is on you." And then, "She didn't steal him. You shoved him into the single column." Noah and I read the messages silently. It played like a car crash between entitlement and denial. Later that night, Ethan called me from his mother's number. "Why are you doing this to me?" he demanded. "Doing what?" I asked. "You're dating Noah!" I rubbed my forehead. "We broke up, Ethan." "Because I thought you'd fight for me." "You told me to leave," I reminded him. "It was supposed to make you realize what you'd lose." I closed my eyes. "Breakups aren't riddles, Ethan. They're choices. You made yours. I respected it." "You don't care about me at all," he snapped. "I cared enough not to play games," I said quietly. "You should try it sometime." He started to say something else, but I hung up and blocked the number again. His mother called next. "Young lady, I think you owe my son an apology." The fact that she opened with "young lady" nearly ended me. "For what?" I asked politely. "For moving on with his friend and humiliating him." "Ma'am," I said, "your son dumped me. It was a test. It was a manipulation. You should have known it wasn't real." "And he should have known I'm not a mind reader," I said. "Have a lovely evening." And I hung up. But the chaos wasn't done. Not even close. 3 weeks after the breakup that wasn't really a breakup, I thought I'd finally earned a calm night. I was out at my usual bar with 2 coworkers, half watching a basketball game and half enjoying the novelty of feeling normal again. The kind of evening where the worst thing that might happen is someone spilling a drink on your shoes. So when I saw Ethan walk through the door, my heart actually stopped. He had never been to this bar, not once in the entire time we dated. He didn't even like sports. He preferred indie cinemas and bars where the lighting was moody enough to hide his pores. But there he was, standing in the doorway like some sort of tragic dramatic lead entering Act 3 too early. Our eyes met. His widened. And then he beelined toward me. "Amelia," he said, breathless, as though he had sprinted from the parking lot, "we need to talk." My friends exchanged looks and immediately pretended to be fascinated by the game, giving me a wide emotional berth. "No, we don't," I said, keeping my voice low. "I told you we're done." "Please," he said, 5 minutes, just 5. The desperation in his voice made my shoulders sag, not because I felt sorry for him, but because I knew he wasn't leaving until I gave him those 5 minutes, and I didn't want him to cause a scene. I stepped outside with him. The night air was cold, sharp, and smelled faintly of fried food from the bar's kitchen vent. Ethan wrapped his arms around himself like he was the one who'd been wronged. "I miss you," he said immediately. "I made a huge mistake. I shouldn't have listened to them. I shouldn't have pushed you away." I stared at him. "Ethan, you didn't push me away. You ended the relationship." His eyes shined with emotion. Real or theatrical, I couldn't tell. "It was supposed to bring us closer." I actually laughed. "Are you listening to yourself right now?" He flinched. "You broke up with me," I repeated, as a love test. "And now you're shocked that I treated it like a breakup instead of a puzzle to solve?" "I thought you'd chase me," he said. "I thought you'd fight. That's what people do in real relationships." "No," I corrected gently. "That's what people do in movies. In real relationships, people talk. They communicate. They don't manufacture heartbreak to measure devotion." He opened his mouth, closed it, then tried again. "I know that now. God, Amelia, we were good together. We had plans. We were, I echoed, "until you chose to end it." He dragged a hand over his face. "If you just told me, just once, that you choose me." "Ethan," I said, calm now, "I chose you every day. In small, real ways that apparently weren't dramatic enough for you. But I'm not interested in living inside a relationship where love has to be proven through tests." He stared at me, breathing unevenly. Then he asked, "Is this because of him?" "No," I said. "This is because of you." He had no answer for that. "I hope," I added softly, "that someday you find what you're looking for. But it's not me. And it was never going to be me. Not with the way you define love." His chin trembled. Then he whispered, "I really messed this up, didn't I?" "You did," I said, "and I'm not going to fix it for you." I walked back inside. He didn't follow. For one blissful moment, I thought that was the end. I was wrong. 3 days later, my phone rang while I was at my desk at work. It was Noah, his voice tight. "You need to come over," he said. "Now." My stomach dropped. What happened? "She knows where I live," he said. "Your ex. She showed up this morning pounding on my door, screaming that I stole you." I stood up so fast my chair rolled backward. "What? Did she threaten you?" "No," he said, "but she scared the hell out of the whole building." "I'm coming," I said. "We'll call the police together." We filed a report. The officer was sympathetic but honest. "As long as she didn't threaten violence or try to break in, there's not much we can do right now," he said. "But keep documenting everything. If it continues, you can file for a restraining order." Noah was rattled, and honestly so was I. But the day's emotional unraveling wasn't done, not even close. That night, Noah and I went out for lunch to decompress. For the first half of the meal, he was distant, quiet in a way that felt less like fear and more like guilt. Finally, he set down his fork. "I need to tell you something," he said. My heart thudded. "Okay." "When I asked you out for coffee," he said slowly, "I already knew something was going on." "With Ethan?" I asked. He nodded. His friends had been talking for a couple weeks about how he needed to shake things up, that he needed to do something dramatic to see if you were truly invested. They didn't say it was going to be a breakup exactly, but I knew they were planning something. I stared at him. "And you didn't think to mention that?" I asked. "I didn't think it mattered," he said quickly. "I didn't know it would be a breakup. I didn't know it was a test. I liked you. And when you became single, it felt like my chance." His voice cracked. He genuinely looked ashamed. But shame doesn't erase impact. "So you knew," I said slowly, "that something manipulative was happening behind the scenes. And instead of warning me, you waited." He swallowed. "I'm sorry, I really am. But everything between us is real." "Maybe," I said, but the beginning wasn't honest. Tears welled in his eyes. "Please don't break up with me. I know I should have told you, but..." "But you didn't," I said. I wasn't angry, just tired. Bone-deep tired. And honesty from the start is the bare minimum. He reached for my hand. I pulled mine back. "I need time to think," I said. But I already knew. I left cash on the table, walked to my car, and sat there with my hands on the steering wheel, staring at nothing. 2 relationships. 2 versions of manipulation. 2 men who were more invested in their own desires than my well-being. That night I texted Noah. "I can't do this. I need someone I can trust. I hope you understand." He called within seconds. I didn't answer. He texted, "Please, don't end this." I blocked the number. And just like that, I was single again, because 2 different men had treated my heart like something to perform with rather than protect. A month passed. Ethan tried one last time to contact me from yet another new number. "I saw you today. You look good. I miss you." I forwarded it to the police. They confirmed that one more documented contact would justify a restraining order. Noah tried too, but his attempts were more romantic in their delusion. He sent a 12-page handwritten letter detailing his feelings, regrets, and hopes for our future. I got through the first 2 pages before dropping it into the recycling bin. His best friend reached out as well, not to defend him, but to apologize. "I cut him off," she said. "What he did to you was wrong." I thanked her, but declined her offer to meet for coffee. I was done collecting lessons from people connected to that circle. Work became my refuge. I threw myself into a project I'd been procrastinating. My boss complimented my focus. I joined a morning running group. I bought new sheets, rearranged my furniture, reclaimed my space and my mind. People asked if I regretted how I handled things. I didn't. I could have screamed, could have sought revenge, could have played games right back. But instead, I walked away clean. 2 relationships ended not because I wasn't enough, but because they weren't real. My therapist said, "Sometimes the greatest sign of growth is the kind of love you no longer tolerate." She's right. I'd rather be alone than be someone's test. I'd rather be single than someone's opportunity. I'd rather wait for real than settle for almost. And for the first time in months, when I wake up in the morning, I feel free.